Today, we're jumping into something called the sugar-free energy reset. Now, this isn't just another diet, it's a program that's designed to completely reset your metabolism, break that dependence on sugar, and get your body into a rhythm it can actually count on. So let's get into how it all works. So let me ask you, does this sound familiar? You know that 3 p.m. slump where you feel like you need something sweet to get through the day? Or just being on that roller coaster of high and low energy? And what about that feeling of being stuck, losing a bit of weight, only to see it come right back? Well, these are the exact problems this whole program was built to solve. First things first, we've got to talk about the problem. And the way this program frames it is pretty interesting. It's not about you failing or lacking willpower. It's about a biological process, basically a sugar-fueled roller coaster that, let's be honest, a lot of us are on without even knowing it. And this quote, it really gets to the heart of the whole philosophy. It's a total mindset shift. The argument here is that powerful, sometimes overwhelming desire for sugar isn't a weakness. It's just your body's chemical reaction to what you've been feeding it. And once you really get that, you can stop blaming yourself and actually start working on changing the chemistry. Okay, so what's the fix? This is where the program comes in. And again, it's not positioned as a diet. They call it a structured system for metabolic repatterning. It's all about retraining your body, really from the inside out. So what on earth does metabolic repatterning even mean? Well, the whole point of this 60-day journey is to switch your body's main fuel source. You see, instead of running on those quick, messy bursts of energy you get from sugar, the kind that leads to crashes and more cravings, the idea is to teach your body how to tap into its own fat stores. That way, you get a much steadier, more consistent stream of energy all day long. So how do they make that happen? It all comes down to a set of really simple, non-negotiable daily rules. This isn't about counting every little calorie. It's about creating a super predictable daily rhythm that your body can finally learn and adapt to. And this is a perfect look at just how simple that framework is. There are really just 4 pillars. First, you eat all your food inside an 8-hour window, which is basically a form of intermittent fasting. Second, you have just 2 real, intentional meals in that window, no snacking or grazing. Third, and this one is huge for the reset part, absolutely no added sugars and no added fats. And finally, you stick to light movement, think walking or stretching. The whole reason for avoiding super intense exercise here is that while your body is making this big metabolic shift, tough workouts can actually spike your hunger and stress hormones, which is the exact opposite of what you're trying to do. All right, that all makes sense, but the big question is, what are you actually putting on your plate for those 2 meals? Well, it turns out it's a very specific and very repeatable formula. Okay, so every meal is going to start with 1 serving of lean protein. A really easy way to eyeball this is to think of a serving as about the size of a deck of cards. Next up, you're going to add 1 serving of an approved fruit. And again, they keep it simple for you. A serving is roughly the size of a tennis ball. And finally, you fill up the rest of your plate, and I mean really fill it up, with 3 or more servings of non-starchy vegetables. In fact, these veggies are your secret weapon. If you ever feel hungry, the program says you can eat as many of them as you want. Now, this is really cool because it shows you're not just guessing what to eat. There's a specific list of approved foods, and it's all designed to nudge your body into what the program calls hyperketosis, which is really just their term for a super efficient fat-burning state. You can see the kinds of things on the list. Lean proteins from beef to fish, fruits like apples and berries, and a ton of vegetables, from spinach to bell peppers. So you've got this daily rhythm down, but how does that build into the full 60-day journey? Well, it's not just doing the same thing for 60 days straight. It's actually broken down into 2 very different, very important phases. This lays out that 2-part structure perfectly. First, you have the 40-day reset. This is the strictest phase, right? That no added fats rule is absolutely key here to break the sugar cycle and really force your body to learn how to use its own fat for energy. Then you move into phase 2, the 20-day lock-in. The goal here is totally different. It's about making your new habits stick. And the major change is you start to strategically bring back healthy fats, things like avocado, nuts, and cheese. This step is so important because it teaches your body how to handle dietary fats again, which is what turns this whole thing into a sustainable, long-term way of eating. So the whole thing comes back to this one crucial point. The program says this over and over again. It's trying to be something completely different. You know, a diet feels like a temporary punishment, but a metabolic reset, Well, that sounds like you're upgrading your body's entire operating system for good. So, if you really commit to this, to both phases of the journey, what happens? What can you actually expect to see and feel? Well, the program promises a transformation that's about way more than just a number on the scale. The results they promise pretty much fall into 4 big categories. First, as your body switches its fuel, those crazy sugar cravings should start to fade away. Second, without the blood sugar spikes and crashes, your energy should feel way more stable throughout the day. Third, as your body gets good at burning stored fat, you'll naturally see weight drop. And finally, and this one's a really big deal, your identity starts to shift. When you consistently follow through and do this for yourself, you start to build this incredible self-trust and see yourself in a whole new way. And honestly, this is the ultimate takeaway. The whole process is meant to go so much deeper than just a meal plan. It's a chain reaction. You change your food to change your body's chemistry. That chemical change makes it easier to build new, better habits. And over time, those habits actually forge a new identity. So I guess the final thought here isn't just about whether you want to lose weight, but whether you're ready to fundamentally change your relationship with food, with energy, and with yourself.